Today, my interview was to be with Puma Sangoma, and because of maybe some miscommunications and life being very busy, it has got overlooked. And hopefully, I'm hoping in all my heart that I still get to bring him to you all at the Sacred Rainbow Current Summit. I'm gonna tell you a wee bit about him. Well, I am Kerry and I live in Glen in the Sperrin Mountains. And in 2017, I travelled to Peru to do the Inca Trail with a group from Northern Ireland, the Northern Ireland Cancer Fund for Children. And it was a trip that I didn't realise, but it was a trip that was to be very, very deeply transformative, deeply healing as part of my own journey. Um, Big elements from the rainbow came in from the very, very beginning. And before our plane had actually even taken off in Dublin Airport to fly to Madrid, I was sitting on the airplane and I was between two strangers waiting for my flight. And I remember when I was sitting on the plane, I remember in my mind and in my heart giving out a prayer that the rainbow be around us all on this journey to Peru and that the rainbow would keep us safe. And I would say 60 seconds might have passed and I couldn't see out the window at all because it was actually a wall to this side of the airplane. And all of a sudden, the man to my left-hand side spoke, and in his Spanish accent, he said to me, "Oh, look, see the big rainbow." And as he said this, he had to move out of the way so that I could peek through the tiny window of the airplane and get a look at the rainbow. And as I got a look at the rainbow, oh my God, instantly the tears began to fall. And I felt in my heart, I knew I am not alone on this trip. Like my son who passed to spirit 18 years ago, he is with me. For we have a relationship between the rainbow, and he is actually buried with an image of the rainbow that his 5-year-old sister at the time drew for him. And what the image of the rainbow actually, we had given her an A4 piece of paper. And I didn't actually remember this at the time because I was under a lot of stress and trauma, having experienced the stillbirth of my son. So I didn't actually remember this, but we had given her a sheet of paper and on it, it had the sky and the clouds already. And what she had done was she had drawn an image of a rainbow, a happy smiling face, and there was either three hearts or flowers below that part. I'm never 100% sure, was it the hearts or the flowers? But that is actually folded with him, and he is buried with that rainbow. And that rainbow, not just that rainbow, but actually the manifestation of the rainbow itself on a physical level for me began to appear actually when we were on the way to the graveyard to put him in the burial ground. And there has been many, many, many rainbows since then, and they have all guided me to this point I am in my life, which happens to be here now, hoping or planning to do this interview with Puma Sangoma. But I feel I want to share about the rainbow with all of you people here today, just in case. Like I think the interview will still take place. I hope the interview still takes place and it be's in time for the summit, but just in case it doesn't, I feel it's important that I speak about the rainbow in particular. And another thing that I didn't actually even realize, I contacted Puma initially knowing that he was from Peru, but I had no idea that he himself, the lineage that he comes from, is the rainbow lineage. So you can imagine when I seen this after I had already invited him, the upliftment and the joy that it brought to my heart. And also not only that, that the family, the Canny family, the global community that Puma actually comes from is linked to the I am presence. And the I am presence is such a sacred, holy, beautiful gift that, if we're very dedicated in our lifetime, if we're dedicated to finding our soul self, our spirit self, if we open that gateway up, the I am lineage, it is there for all of the people. It is among all of the people. And I myself had an experience of the I am in 2012, and I actually had no intention of talking about that today in Puma's talk, but it must want to come out that this I am presence it is the unity of yourself with all things, and it is the unity that the holy living essence and energy is actually you. It is actually your life force, your energy, alive now in this physical dimension that we live in on the earth. And it's connected to everything. And what I want to say about the I am presence as well, because like nature is so important. Nature has been such a humongous, large part of my own journey. It's, after my heart had been broken into a million pieces and part of me didn't even want to be here anymore, it was actually nature in these rolling hills of Connie Glen in the Sperrin Mountains of Northern Ireland where I live. It was actually the essence of that life force living out through the land that really, really, it was the medicine. It was the renewal. It was the healing. It was just the deep communion with that, with my soul that was raw, that really, it really held me. And this is what nature does for all of us. It holds us. But I also want to mention that sometimes in this life, we don't have opportunities to be in nature. We don't have opportunities to be close to it, to commune with it. And this has happened on our earth as cities have been built, and a lot of the cities that have been built have no green spaces, or it's difficult for people to get to it. The green spaces with the trees, with the rivers, with the growth of the plants. And sometimes, you know, the world has become so polluted as well. Like we can't even see the stars at night. The dark skies have, for many, they're not there. They don't get to have the eyes infused with the energy of the cosmos, the universe that feeds into our soul as well. And I want to mention that, you know, there is a place within all of us, no matter where we live on this earth, even if we just close our eyes and allow ourselves to go into the inner space, the inner sacred and holy space, the inner universe. I want very much for people to know that from that sacred space of the land of you as this being that you are here now, you can also connect with the sacred I am presence. For this presence is you. And I just pray that for the people who are ready for that, ready to open their hearts to it, that, you know, that these words can offer some encouragement. Because the other thing I'll say about sacred holy presence and the I am presence within as well, part of us has to open the gateway, the door, that we have to give permission. We have to allow it, that the higher essences, the higher domains, they will not invade or they will not intrude. They will not force, or that is not the way of the higher energies. That is not the way of pure and utter love that loves you unconditionally, no matter what you choose or do in this life. That love is always there. But as somebody who has had these experiences, I just want to let people know that if this feeling, if this desire, this longing to merge from within, so it's not the mind, it has to come up really from your heart, your belly, from your heart being into you. If this really, really opens, you will be answered. You will be listened to. You will experience what you need to experience. This I promise you. So that's what I want to say about the I am presence today. Um, the other thing that I'll mention is, and I think maybe this veers out more toward the rainbow. The way I would describe the rainbow is actually encircled around every living person, every living being on the planet, and as well as it being wrapped around us like a type of cloak that holds us. This is also around our planet and all of the living forces. And with the rainbow, like we might all be familiar with the saying, what is it that nobody wants pain, or what is it? Nobody wants pain, but look for a rainbow in the rain. I'm not saying it right, but we're all aware there has to be like a disturbance, like a storm or a rain shower or something usually takes place on the earth realm before we actually will see the glory of the rainbow manifest and be visual in front of us. And feel like that is also encircled in our bodies, that each of the colors that are represented by the chakras that some people may be familiar with through the old knowledge that comes from the Far East about the chakras, that all of these around our body, they go through like a life of their own, these colors that we wear as our cloak. And sometimes the colors will shine, they will be radiant. And this is because at this stage of our lives, when our colors are working like this, we have worked to bring in balance, to bring in harmony, to bring in a sense of equality into everything that we do. Sometimes also we go through events and hardships and grief, sadness. We can go through despair and all sorts of really, really difficult, hard experiences. But this cloak is still holding us. Now, our colours mightn't be shining as vibrantly, as brightly whenever this happens. But the rainbow will never, ever totally disarm you or let you go or not hold you. Like, because you could be in the deepest, most tragic, most horrific, awful storm of your life, the darkest place you have ever been. And it's nearly like it's when we're in these places that the actual rainbow actually comes through the most magnificent, the most strong, or for some people, it might be that they just see the wee glimmer in the dark of a rainbow beginning to form for the very first time. But it's there, and it's a bit like the I am presence. It's something that is part of all of us that we may have forgotten. So I'm just, I suppose I'm just taking this opportunity because I had this space today to do the interview that hasn't happened, but a better one, a really better one might possibly be going to happen at a stage yet. So I've really bought in about the rainbow there. Some of the things that I was very excited, and I still will do if I get the chance, but I was going to be asking Puma about Papa Key, his granddad. And I know he had a very close relationship with Puma, and he guided him, he bathed him in the love and the wisdom of the Andes, of the of the mountains in Peru. So I would love to find out more about that. Puma as well, I had been reminded when I was doing up his notes that he was initiated by lightning at the age of 6. Um, and that reminds me of something now. I wasn't actually hit by lightning, but for the first 6 or 7 years of my life, I think 7 maybe, I lived in the Isle of Man. And when we were very young, our family, my mum and dad are from Ireland. So we moved back to Northern Ireland when I think I was about 7 maybe. And we weren't too long in our new house. and it was a bungalow, and we had a bit of a field at the bottom of this house. And around this house, around the whole house, the back of it, and around the back, and coming out the side was not a big river, but like a stream. It could fill up and get deep at times if there was heavy rain, but it was more like you couldn't really call you couldn't really call it a river, but it could be dangerous to if it got really deep and young ones were there, and eventually my mum and dad put a fence around it. But when I was down in the garden, and I was very, very young. I don't remember, was I 7 or 8, but I was very young. And out of the blue, on the most a normal day, it wasn't raining, it wasn't windy, it wasn't anything. It was just a nice, normal day. And I was down in the field, and I actually remember that a bolt of lightning came down right in front of me and hit the ground. And what my memory of that is actually just I don't even remember turning, because I think it turned that fast. Like it didn't, there was no, it was just like I was ran up to the house, and I was just so scared, so shocked, so I don't know, it had happened so fast that I was there, and that this lightning bolt hit, and the next thing I'm in my house. It was like, because that's how fast I moved. So I was very interested to see if Puma has any memory that he can, and it will be totally different for him if he was actually hit by the lightning. But you know, he obviously survived, and he's here to help the world initiate in on a greater level all these sacred gifts that come from his lineage in Peru. So what I want to mention, just when I'm touching on Peru and what's coming to me now as I say this as well, is what surprised me about Peru is that some of the landscapes of Peru were very like what some of the mountains are like in our Sperrins Mountains. And in the mountains where I live here, there are hollows in the hill where parts of the mountains just disappear. And it's green, it's beautiful, it's vast. And I'm not saying that all of Peru was like that, because the mountains are much higher, they're steeper, they're grander, it's oh my God, it's actually, when you go to Peru, and if you ever get to do the Inca Trail and go up to the mountains, the the landscape, the power of the river, the power of those mountains, when you see them, it's absolutely, it just like the way I can put it, it rings through your body. It just, it feeds every cell of your body. It's so powerful. And I suppose in a way, our hills in Ireland, our mountains, they don't strike you as dramatic like the Peru, the Inca Trail. But there's something in our mountains that is magical. There's there's like there's like an essence or a life force that comes up through the ground. And what I notice in the sperrins as well is the way that the light shines into this part of the world. Like the light, I became very, very sensitive. I became very sensitive to this light after the loss of Liam, and we had just moved up here. And, I began to actually, I was able to sense the rainbows before there actually were rainbows. And you know, that has never went away. There is this essence of a really ancient, deep, I don't even know what to call it. There's such a feeling of beauty as well. Beauty, deep, deep, just this deep richness. Oh my God. Yeah, there's a richness to our landscape. And now as I'm seeing this, now here we are in the situation and the process we are in with and I'd forgot about this, but this makes sense now coming to me about the big multinationals wanting to come into our mountains to take from it its jewels, its essence of its coppers, its gold, it's the the begotten jewels that are underneath our feet. So this is the sacredness of the sparrows. And this is like another I don't know how to speak of this because this is another level of our place, Ireland, on this planet, that we are a holder, some sort of conduit for precious light that comes into our planet. And maybe this is why Ireland calls to so many people. And now big multinationals have become aware and want to totally and utterly destroy the sacredness, the essence of what we are on this planet. So this is where our landscapes are a wee bit different to parts of Peru. But many parts of Peru, the mountains won't all be as dramatic, would be lower mountains, and they too, like a people. And this is maybe why the music impacts me always and touches me and brings tears to my eyes whenever I hear it. That the people who have been the ancestors, the people who have loved, walked, treasured, been with that land for all of its days, for all of its nights, for all of time, for the people, the ancient people are connected with time. They they understand, you know, this deep connection and relationship that we have with Machu Picchu, with the mother energy, and they they understand what it is that has to be maintained, that can't be taken away from us, taken away from our children, taken away from the world. That this is something that, you know, it's deep in my heart as well, and something that's coming out as I speak here. Um, so Puma's dream is to represent the Andean cultures to the planet in ways where it's impossible to miss the alchemical gold and treasures. His passion is for everyone to be able to use the stepping stones of our ancient ancestral wisdom to reach the heights our ancestors dreamed of. The ancestors left a lot of portals open and a lot of treasures ready to be picked up on. And this is why I believe this great big awakening is what we are all having, so many of us on the earth right now in this time. They knew these times were going to be very difficult, so they even left the technology, the science and hints that make it possible for us to go through these times with ease. Puma's passion is to be present and introduce the world to these portals and mysteries for everyone to discover themselves as powerful masters of light and global healers. So I'm with Puma 100% on this. This is what these times are about. I was going to ask him to maybe share about the beautiful animals. One of the most striking animals that I've seen on my travels, and there will be many, many more beautiful striking animals, but I got a very quick glimpse of the hummingbird when I was in Peru, and it was very fleeting, very quick for just a couple of seconds. And it was just absolutely beautiful. And I am sure he has some spectacular journeys that he could share with us about the messages and the creatures of Peru. Another thing is, how can we keep sacred gifts sacred so that they're not capitalized upon and materialized, which can be the temptation in this world of opposites and polarities that we all live in? And this was something I was going to ask Puma today. How can we keep the sacred rainbow messages and the sacred rainbow essence? How do we keep it sacred? How do we not let it be monetized? It's not to be monetized. And what I would say about this is the main thing I would say about this is, first of all, anything that is sacred, anything that is within our essence, cannot be owned or controlled by an outer force because it's sacred. And with that, a line of remembering, to remember what our sacred gifts are. And our sacred gifts is this holy body that we live in. Like, our universe is inside this body that is our coat, our rainbow cloak coat, as I like to call it, as we walk the earth. And like, nobody can step into your coat. Nobody can be you. Only you can be you. So this is a way to remember how to keep the sacred sacred, to be in alignment with your heart, with your sovereignty, who you are, what your soul essence wants to bring or share through its many gifts and talents. And everybody here has gifts and talents. There's nobody better than anybody else. We all so much are part of each other and bounce off each other. And this is the whole thing about light and the rainbows. For the rainbow is light, light, light and love. Just, is there anything else? Just to allow yourselves time, to allow yourself space. And this is where the nature comes in. And this has been the big disconnect. So to keep things sacred, know that your relationship with every tree, every flower, every river, every store, everything is alive, is real, is be present with that. So I would say that to keep the sacredness alive as well, the sacred rainbow current. Be true to your feelings. Be as true to your feelings as you can. And this means maybe not totally suppressing your feelings. I'm not saying when you get annoyed, go out and murder somebody. I'm not saying that. But be real about what you're feeling and how you're feeling. And by being real about what's actually taking place, because to me, the elements, the sacred fire, the sacred water, the sacred air we breathe, the sacred current is inside us. So, because they're living like they do on the outside of us, the weather patterns, these live inside us. So, just be very, very true to what arises in this inner landscape of your body, your being. This is another way to maintain the sacred space within. Just allow, allow the harder feelings, but because you're become able to do this, you will also be able to allow the most beautiful, heartful gratitude and positive feelings. And these are the feelings that can, when you really begin to embrace these, because we can't embrace one and not embrace the other. So when you're able to do this is like another gateway, like a door that can open many portals for you as well. So keep that alive, and keep the relationship alive with your children. Oh my God, keep, through being with them on the eye to eye and the heart to heart. And, if we're in the world in places where we can't get out to nature, you can still give them the universe that is alive within your heart and being, your love for them. And that can shine through your eyes. That can come through in your voice. That can, how you touch your child softly. This is another way to keep this sacred current sacred and alive within all of us. So that's important too, very important, the children. I was going to ask about rainbow lineage of the landscapes of Peru, and at another time, hopefully we'll get to hear some magic about that. And yeah, I've touched in on quite a few. It's like, who would do this? Who would come out here and have this conversation by themselves? But what I realize about life is our time here is now. Our time is this minute, this moment to share and to do what we can do. But it's not guaranteed. I don't know if I will be here tomorrow. And life, life is such a beautiful, precious gift. And we are here now in these times for a reason. For a reason to expand the love, expand it till our planet, expand it till our children, to our families, expand God's grace everywhere. This is what I do know. And I suppose, in a funny sort of a way, this is my way of making sure as best I can that I'm taking part in life. And I'm going to finish up now. But this is what I want for all of you. Just to trust and know that we're never on our own. And also, just to finish off, keep your fingers crossed that I get an interview with Puma, which for me is such a huge part of this summit. So hopefully, because he's such a busy man, I know he is such a busy man, but fingers crossed, and love to you all. Thank you for listening to me today. Thank you so much.